Hi guys, it's me Karen. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing some more work on this page here that we're doing in the Hanna Karlzon book, the Forest Kingdom. Yeah, had to remember because I can't read the book on the outside. So we're working on the little owl here, and yesterday we did work on here with distress ink and some Polychromos, and the bow is done with some of the distress ink also. Today we're going to be finishing up the bow, try to get out a lighter blue than I have here, and finish up a little bit more of the face. We'll do some detailing in it. I think this one's probably a light blue. The other one looks to be a turquoisey color, and I don't know if I want to bring that in. So, yeah, that's a good one. I put a base down of the distress ink, and then I'm just going over it with the pencil just to add some more color in there. The color that I had grabbed is light cobalt turquoise, which goes quite nicely with the colors that I put down before. Leave a little white space in there, but I want to get most of it blue. And I'm not going to worry about going over the lines in this because I am going to do a background. I may even paint it all black after I'm done here, depending on what I feel like our little owl deserves after I get him colored in. If he needs to be in the night sky, or if he needs to be out in the day, basically. Not quite sure what color I'm going to do his vest, but I think it's probably going to be in a maroon type color. And of course we're not done with his feathers or anything yet. This is just the start of the page. It's a good start, but it's still a start. And it's okay if his little feather is in here. I can either erase that or I can make a feather in there. So how are you all doing today? I hope you're all well. We had a storm roll in yesterday. One of those you just want to curl up, watch a movie, and have some cocoa. So I ended up watching a couple of movies. We watched, oh, I'll get the name wrong, I always do. Stop for a minute and I'll get the name of it. Okay, it was Into the Heights, which is based off of a stage musical, and also the music is done by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also did the music for Hamilton. So it was really a good little number that they did. It's all a lot of musical numbers in it. So if you've ever seen Hamilton, it's very reminiscent of that. It's got a really good story though. It was fun to watch. My daughter had picked it out, so we enjoyed it a lot. And then we watched, my husband and I, earlier in the day, we're watching the extended version of the Hobbit trilogy. So each one of those is 4 hours long with the extended scenes. Yeah. I'm going back in now with the Helioblue Reddish, or just going to darken some areas here. So yeah, I enjoyed those. Oops, like I said, I don't care if I go out of the lines. Background will get done. I just don't know what color I want to do it in yet. Have you guys watched any good movies lately? I don't watch much TV, but when it gets all outside, I like to watch something. Keeps my mind off of the weather. Make sure I'm in frame here. So we're using a light pressure here just to blend that into the other color, and then we'll darken it, put a little heavier pressure down here at the edge. When I'm coloring, I forget to say that sometimes. I'm sorry. There's a line that goes down here, so I'm assuming that's going to be a darker area. This little bit is his feathers, so we're going to leave that alone unless I accidentally color it, and then I'll erase it. Just add a little bit of that up here. Again, that's lighter pressure, and then darker at the edge. I want to get it dark down here, so I'll put heavier pressure on that, and then just lighten my pressure coming up. Okay, we're going to bring in the dark indigo. And really get this side dark. And just a shadow down here in the corner, so we want to make sure that's dark too. Okay, I want to make this a nice little crease here. There's a divot there, there's a high point here, a little divot here. Divots are going to be dark, high points are going to be light. We want it kind of dark up here. And bring the lightness down. We want to go dark around the links and chain. We'll be doing that down the vest too. Dark right up here. Under our little feathers. Bring in the secondary middle blue, do the same thing. Then we'll bring in the lightest blue. Very lightly over that light spot. And go back over here. Then lightly bring that up. Leaving little white space there. Okay, then we're going to bring in the white. I'm going to put the white in where the white should be. A little heavier pressure here because we want to be able to see that area. Over here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to bring in a little Prisma white here. And we're going to add that in right around the edges where I need it blended just a bit more. And right where we want the white. Try to avoid the black lines because this will cover them up. But just those little areas that need a little more blending. Just like that, right around the bow up here and this little piece here that needed to be blended. Okay, we're going to add a little black in there. I do want to put a distinct white line there and one there. Boom. Because I wanted to make sure that that little crease I put in the bow stayed there. Okay. This little area up here, kind of want to go in the direction of our curl or our fluff, or high point, whatever you want to call it, just to make sure we get our little flow of the fabric there. Okay, and here, this is our flow up here. And right here, we want to make sure that stands out. Okay. Lighter touch, and you can get that blended in really nicely over here. A little higher here. Okay, and then down here. This is our high point. Bring a little of this down here and blend that up a little bit better. Just on the top there. Down in the little ribbon feet. Just on the top side, leave the bottom side dark. Go back in here and fix this portion. And that portion. Okay. Let's go back up in here in the ribbon here. Make sure that's nice and light. Then we'll use our pencils and darken the darker areas. Okay, so I'm just going to use my finger and blend that all the way across. Do the same on the bow. Make sure that all gets around. Wipe that off your finger. And then we have our bow. Now, if you still think there's some parts that don't look smooth enough for you, you can go over them with the Prisma. It'll smooth them out a little bit. Cute. Okay, now I got some extra white up here on his face that I was not happy about, so I'm going to take the eraser and just around in this area where the feathers are, we're going to lighten up some areas and bring that right up into that area. Kind of follow the feather line that you have down here. They curl one way, have them go that way. If they curl another way, do it that way. Bring it up, fluff up some of these little feathers up here. Right across his nose here. Kind of going up on those lines that we put up here. Just lightly touch it and just put in some of those little feather lines. On these top feathers, go in and bring it down. Now if you notice, my eraser has got some dark on it, and that's okay. We're putting in, I mean, if I was going into white, I would take that out, but I'm going into this kind of gray color, and this is actually going to help it blend in a little bit. I wanted these a little lighter over here, and we're just going to bring it in and lighten those edges up. Okay. There we go. Do the same on the other side. A little easier to do on this guy because he's got a monocle. We don't have to mess with his eye. Okay, just around him here. We get some more of those little feathers working, okay? Now we do want to darken up a little bit of the underside here. Just right underneath here. In fact, I'm going to pull in Derwent Light Fast Black. We're just going to pull some of that straight through there. Go across here and right up through there. Right up through here. And there. Be a little one right about here. There and there. We're kind of making our own little feather line going up in this direction. Okay, this is like a V here and a V with curl up here. Just pull a little of that down. These are feathers here, so we want to elongate those out. Some darker than others. Bring them down into the dark rim that's here. See where we already have some of these dark lines. We're going to bring those back up. You can make them the same kind of shape as those if you like. I just want to make sure they come down. Okay, down and up, make sure these stand out, draw some in or draw around them, and then shadow them down. This one curls out, this one curls up, this one curls this way, but we want these a little darker. Make that one curl more or less, whichever you like. We do want to have some texture up here. Do the same thing on this side. Hold on a second, I'm going to see what that noise is. Okay, if you can hear that, someone is jackhammering out there, probably doing something to a sidewalk or something. I'm just going to bring that up. Okay, we were working on this side. Bring it out to the tip. Darken him up in there just a little bit. I'm going to take these, bring those up a little bit. Okay, I do the same thing down here. I've already erased some of that, but I want to make sure that these black lines show up on the ones that come over the vest. Color them in a little bit so you don't see that line as much. There we go. On these feathers, same thing. We're going to bring like one down this way. It's going to connect to that feather. Bring one down that way. We'll get to this area and we will kind of just fade those off. Kind of get a couple of those just so you kind of see them. And then darken underneath that area and underneath the sleeve a little. Just make sure that stays the darkest. Okay, before we work on the feathers, we're going to do the vest because I will probably bring over some red when I'm working on that and easier to cover it up with the feathers than the opposite way for me. Probably different for everybody, but I'm going to work on the vest. So we're going to get out some red tones. Caput mortems are good. I'll get out a burnt carmine, Venetian red. I'd like a burgundy color. We've got red violet, light tone. It's gonna have to be a flesh tone. We have dark flesh and light flesh. Medium flesh. All that for a vest, maybe. We'll see what we use. Okay, gonna take our darkest color, the well, maybe medium dark. I might as well just go dark. We're gonna use the Caput Mortem Violet. We're gonna go around the edges. It's gonna be a nice deep color. I'm gonna put it on very lightly so I can layer the colors up. We have blue up here, so it's going to come out a little different color, which is cool. Happy mistakes, you know. Pull it down. Try to avoid the feathers. Okay. Down in here. Okay, in the button area it'll be darkest, so we can put some of that in there pretty easily. Now, our little owl friend here has got a very large chest area, so his buttons will probably pull a little bit, so we're going to let the fabric kind of drape this way from the buttons and pull up that way for the buttons. Okay, it's going to be darkest around the edges here, lighter in towards the front or middle area. This is in the back side, this comes out. So we're going to try to keep our lines of shadow going all the way to this side back here. We have a dark valley down here. We have a bump, a hill, and a valley. So we're going to keep those there. Our last little button over here. And it's going to be dark under our pocket, our jewel here. We have another little valley here and a hill and another little valley. Okay, we're probably going to have a couple of fabric pulls from the shoulder to that pocket. Underside of that pocket. Now you can decide if he's got all his feathers up here, then his waist comes in. If so, you can thin or thicken the line here to make it look like this is being pulled and this is nice and taut. So we can darken that one up a bit more. Get under that pocket. And of course the pockets need to be colored also. So depending if he's got anything in the pocket, which I'm assuming this chain goes up and into the pocket, we want to make that pocket feel like it has something in it. So we'll kind of make a little area like that. This one clips on. Darken around that, give it a shadow. Maybe some pull marks where it actually clips onto the fabric. To the pocket. So, what do you think so far? Gorgeous, huh? Just gonna get a little more color on there. Okay, and I've worn the pencil down here a little bit. If you see, there's a little angle and there's a little point. I'm going to turn it and we're going to use that point to go down the stitch line. On all of that, on all the pockets too, while I have it. It's wearing down, so turn it and color it and get a point again. Okay. Okay, we're going to bring in a little bit of red violet. And we're going to go where the darkest areas are. And pull some of that in. It's just going to bring in a redder tone to everything. Not sure if I want it too red, but I want some in there. Okay, also using a light touch on this. Barely gliding it on the paper, trying not to catch too much of the tooth on it. Get that red color in until I get up where I want it a bit darker. Then I'll just turn the pencil a little sharper point. And put a little more pressure on it. Get it darker in the valleys and lighter in the hills. Darken up those little creases that come down. All right. Another color, we're going to go in with the medium flesh, I think. Ooh, maybe that's too orange. Skip that too. Okay, we're going to go in with the light flesh. Kind of pull it into these hills here. Just going to have to erase it out of that star. Okay, that's all over it. I'm going to go back in with, or go in with, I'm going to take the things out I did not use. What are you? I might still use you. Ones I did not use need to go on the other side of the desk. I don't want to put them in the description box if I did not use them. Confuse everybody, including myself. Did I use the Caput Mortem Violet in here? If not, I'm going to. Blend that out a little bit. Darken up underneath all these little balls, putting a little more pressure on to do that. They're going to shadow there. That side of the pocket a little smaller shadow than the other side. Fill in the bottom of the pocket, give it a little dimension there. A little darker there. Follow that line down. Just kind of give it the illusion it goes all the way down into this pocket. Don't know how this thing's going to be colored, if these are going to be open or not, but we're just going to skip them. We'll have to remember what color we put on the other side. Okay. Bring this color very lightly up into this section. We'll do the buttons black probably, so it's okay if we go over those. I'm going to make a little crease in that pocket too. Okay, it's working out. Could be a lot of layers on it. Okay. Okay, we're going to bring in a little burnt carmine. Thought I'd better bring in some red because it's supposed to be a red vest. So I want a little bit of red highlights in there. Again, I'm just going over everything kind of lightly, putting a little more pressure where I want it a little darker. Under this bow, we really want a nice shadow. Okay, under here. All right, going to bring in a little of Venetian red. Okay, this is getting to be a bit much here, but we're not done. We want to go back in with the caput mortuum. Dull down the red a little bit. I want it there, but I don't want it in my face. Okay, blend a little of that with my finger. And yeah, it blends still. Don't worry about it. Get that off my finger. Then we're going to bring in a tiny bit of the rusty hinge that we used on his eyes. Why not? I mean, I can tell you 500 reasons why not. But it's going to be a little orange, but we're going to bring it in, put it in the pockets, bring it up. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in a little of the vintage photo. Oh, I could probably turn that around. Yeah, it's going to be a brown, so we're going to bring that in. There we go. It's a nice color. And we're going to bring in a little white Prisma. I got to make sure I get this ink off of me so I don't blur it. And just bring out our highlights a little better. So we don't lose them completely. And I can rub that because the ink isn't quite dry and it'll blend right in with that white. There. Okay, then we're going to bring in some black and just go around the pockets. And get a shadow in there. Go around right under the stitch line here. Right up next to the bow. Up here on the sleeve. Just lightly underneath the white that we put down. We're going to go underneath all those little chains. And darken the corner of the pockets. Okay, any place you want whiter than the white pencil got, bring out your eraser. And you can pull some of that right out. With that. Erase it out of anywhere you don't want it. Like I got a little of it up here, we can erase that out. Especially if we don't have red on our eraser. There we go. There we go. We're going to color those buttons in black. So we got our black pencil here. We might as well just do that. Since I have the other ink on top of that, it'll show those little X marks, which will be cool. We're going to have to lighten up our little balls here. So I've got a lot of red in them. that little piece, any of these little pieces that we don't know what we're doing with yet. I want to take some of that color out. And there we go. Owl in his vest. I may darken that up a little bit more. I'm not sure. I have to play with it a little bit. But if I darken it, it'll just be with the same exact colors that we used. Just think, what did I even pick up? Caput mortem is going over everything now. I want to bring a little more brown into that. Okay, there we go. So that'll be it for me today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in part 3. Take care, everyone. Bye now.